What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into On Air with Chris Shanafelt as we continue our 2022 NFL Draft Prospect interview series. And now it's a pleasure to welcome onto the show Andrew Rupcich, the tackle out of Culver-Stockton College. It was recently announced that Andrew will be the lone representative of the NAIA at the NFL Combine. And that takes place next month, March 1st through March 7th in Indianapolis, Indiana at Lucas Oil Stadium. And Andrew joins the show now. Andrew, appreciate you taking the time, man. How's it going?
It's going well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine, and we'll get right into it, man. Recently, you were in Pasadena, California, as you were invited to the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl. You were one of the standout offensive linemen all week. What did you take away from that experience, being able to showcase your talent in front of all 32 NFL teams while going up against some of the best talent in the country?
The biggest thing I took away was just that I belong where I'm sitting at right now. It's not a shocker to me that I'm here where I am, but just showing everybody else that I belong here, and then just being versatile while I was there, being able to play multiple positions was an awesome thing to show scouts. So
Absolutely. And I know that the NFLPA, they do a great job bringing in current and former players to coach the game and run seminars throughout the week, give you guys advice, to the next class of NFL players. Were you able to pick the brain of any current or former players or coaches that were out there?
the biggest three for sure were definitely the position coaches. So we had Jackie Slay for the Rams. He played for 20 years. Willie Anderson for a while, and then he's currently in the league. He's currently a free agent, Willie Wright. And so just those three dudes were the biggest dudes I talk to every day. How do you use them?
Absolutely. And again, I mean, some Hall of Famers that you just mentioned there. So definitely cannot go wrong
Yeah.
with that, especially you being an offensive lineman, being able to learn from those guys for a week down there at the Rose Bowl. I'm sure that was just an awesome experience. And certainly somebody coming from a smaller school such as yourself, being able to show that you do belong and that you can go up against guys from the Division I FBS level. And again, you were a standout all week. What was some of the feedback that you had gotten from throughout the week from NFL scouts and coaches that were out there, Andrew? How do you think NFL teams are viewing you as a prospect at the next level?
Well, first, I through a lot of talking with the scouts throughout the week. They definitely see me moving in from tackle to a guard, more of a guard role, and potentially like a center role. So that was the biggest thing I tried to do this week. Was I took almost all my reps at left guard throughout the week just to show them that I can play on the inside. I don't have to be just a one-trick pony as a tackle. And I got a lot of good feedback from. I just jumped right into it this week. I haven't played guard since like my freshman year of high school. So moving from tackle from the last 8 years of my life to that was kind of a difficult at first, but it came really smooth once I got all the technique down.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I know you played tackle, you played left tackle all 4 years at Culver-Stockton, and actually we're chatting with again Andrew Rupcich, the only player to ever be named a three-time All-American at the same position in the history of the NAIA. And again, he's representing Culver-Stockton College. And Andrew, there's some people out there that have never heard of Culver-Stockton College. What does it mean to you that you're kind of putting the school on the map and getting them not only the school, but the Wildcats football program on the national level here?
The biggest thing is my program really wasn't nothing. The year before I came in, we were 1-10, consistently losing seasons, consistently not winning games, getting blown out. And the biggest thing that I came in, I wanted to build that program. We built the program up from nothing. We finished last year 8-3, fighting for conference championships the last 2.5 years. But just to be able to come out of there, there's only one person that's ever done it at Culver-Stockton, and it was out of like 1946. So the biggest thing for that is like I'm putting the program out there, and I'm giving back essentially by like the school is going to get the media and stuff like that. So the more the recruits are going to see that, and they're going to be more likely to go there, especially if they're fighting for an NAIA level spot. So that's just going to build the program up even more from where I left it when I left, and allow them to continue to succeed.
Yeah, and Andrew, usually guys go to the D2, D3, NAIA level, and one of the main reasons is because they're undersized. That's obviously not the case for you. Currently, I see you're listed, and you stand at a legit 6'6", 325 pounds, which, again, that's a size that you rarely see at that level of football. Talk about your journey to Culver-Stockton. How did you how did the D1 programs in the country miss out on this now draft-worthy talent 4 or 5 years ago?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, Andrew. You there?
Oh, sorry. It was cutting out for a second there. But the biggest thing was coming out of high school. I didn't get into the clearinghouse until kind of later into my senior year. So most of the stuff I was talking to with D1 coaches was that, and they kind of heard that, and then they didn't have any like really roster spots open, and they were just doing walk-on stuff and along those lines. And that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to somewhere I was going to come out with not too much debt. I didn't want to be stuck in paying back debt for the rest of my life. I didn't want to be stuck just sitting around for 4 years. And I really just wanted to find a place I was going to call home for 4 years and not have to like deal with the walk-on situation. I didn't want to go the JUCO route, and it just kind of came down to where I felt like home, and I felt like I could do the like immediate impact. And I went up to Winona State, which is the D2 program up in Minnesota, the day before Culver, and just kind of felt more comfortable at Culver-Stockton. I knew I could make an immediate impact and kind of transform a team. So that's how I kind of ended up there.
And how about the mindset of an offensive lineman, Andrew? They don't call them the big nasties up front for no reason. Just speak about the mindset and how you have to have this switch that you have to turn on when lining up there come game day.
Yeah, so a lot of every locker room you go to, you'll see the offensive line group is more of like a buddy buddy, joking around, goofy kind of dudes. They're usually the funniest dudes around. But once we hit the field, it's all about finishing. We have most of us have a killer instinct that we like to switch on when we get onto the field, and just basically turn everything that we do throughout the week and just we're competitive dudes, and we just want to put people on the ground we feel good, and allows us to help the rest of the team succeed. Because if you got 5 dudes with 5 dudes on the ground, your running back's going to be running for days. And that's the biggest mindset I think I've had throughout my years at Culver.
And I see in February of 2020, you were awarded what might be my favorite trophy in all of sports, and it's called the Piesman Trophy. And yes, you heard that correctly, the Piesman Trophy. And the way they describe it here is college football's first trophy dedicated to linemen who do unlineman things. Both, I believe, offensive and defensive linemen can win this award, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to pull up the play here that ultimately won you the Piesman Trophy, Andrew. And so here, just sit tight real quick, and we'll pull up that play here so people know. This is the play that won Andrew Rupcich the 2020 Piesman Trophy Award. Let's go ahead and see it. Now, and we'll go ahead and play it one more time for those that may have missed it. But Andrew, how did this play come together? What was going on through your mind when the play was actually called? How long did you guys have this in your back pocket? And were you nervous throwing that pass?
Oh yeah. So basically throughout the week, our offensive coordinator told me that the play was going to be in. And it's one of those things, if we just needed like a little jump spark, or like we wanted just to change things up, that had come into play. And we came out of halftime. We were moving the ball across the 50 every time, but we just couldn't finish. So he told me at halftime, he was like, "Hey, if we get past the 50, just know it's going to be the first play." So that first time we got across the 50, the play was called, and yeah, I'm sitting there nervous because like throughout the week I'm thinking about it. I had like 3 different pairs of gloves I wear, and I was trying each of the gloves out during the week because I wasn't going to be able to take them off. I was like, which one do I throw best in? So I'm stressing about that. And then when I finally got the ball in my hands, it just came like, I know, it was more like just get it out. It was kind of like a stressful get it out. And once it was in the air, it was like holding my breath. And as soon as he caught it, like, I don't know, the feeling was just like super surreal because I didn't even think it was going to get there at first. But when it got there, that was like just the energy level I had from that point on was just insane.
I know you probably found your way into the quarterback meeting room the following week. Is that right?
I like to check in with them sometimes just to see what they're doing and joke around with them, but never got to. They don't let me sit around too long.
Again, and I'd be remiss if I didn't throw this picture up. I mean, give me this pose any day of the week over the Heisman Trophy pose, man. Give me the Piesman Trophy pose. I mean, that's absolutely spectacular. I mean, what was your reaction when you won the trophy, man? I mean, you beat out guys from Nebraska, from Notre Dame, from Appalachian State. It was the offensive lineman from Culver-Stockton that won the award.
Yeah, that was kind of like the awakening moment for me. Essentially, like it doesn't matter where you go. Like obviously that's a different thing. Like just my playing abilities, but like that was one of those things. Like if you're good enough, stuff will get out there. And when all those voting, because it was all like voting by like the people at first, so it was like scary at first. Like, hey, these dudes have Notre Dame backing them up, App State, like big Division I programs. I go to a school with 1,000 kids, so that was the biggest thing. And once I saw myself continuing to rank up, and I got to that final level, I was like, "There's no way I don't win." Now that it just comes down to strict like the media voters. So
again, I'll throw the picture up one more time. I mean, again, give me this pose over the Heisman Trophy pose 7 days out of 7 days. Absolutely love it. Again, he's Andrew Rupcich, the 2022 NFL Draft prospect, Piesman Trophy winner, offensive lineman out of Culver-Stockton College. And Andrew, when did you realize that pro football could be in your future? Do you remember the first time an NFL scout came to your school to meet with you? And what was that when you knew that you had a chance, or is there another moment out there that you could kind of circle back to?
It's funny. My dad always brought up to me my like freshman, sophomore years of college. He was like, "Oh, is this something you want to do?" I was like, "Yeah," but Dad, like, at the level I'm at, like, it's gonna be tough. Like, we'll just kind of see how it goes. And it was during COVID so April of last year when that NFS guy from the Chiefs came in, and he came in around April. And now, like, my coach talked to me about it all the time, like, hey, teams are going to start coming in, but nobody was coming in yet. So, like, when it was that moment when that first guy came in, that I was like, yeah, this is really going to happen. And then once fall camp came in, I think we had like 8 teams come in before fall camp was even over, and then just kept every day. Basically, a new team was coming in for the rest of the semester, and that was kind of like, hey, like, this is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's a great moment, great detail of the teams coming in, meeting with you at your school. I know you're currently training, if I'm not mistaken, at EXO's, one of the top combine training facilities in the country. You're getting ready for the NFL scouting combine. What type of athlete are you, Andrew? And is there a specific drill, anything that you're really looking forward to competing in next month's combine?
Any specific drill? I mean, obviously the position work is always something that I'm going to look forward to because I love doing that stuff. But I think that other one is probably the 40. Because we do so much like timing on the 40 and prep for the 40, and I'm really thinking I can get around that 5.0 range, and hopefully if I can get under that, and that's what I'm really shooting for coming into the combine. So like I'm really excited for that.
Absolutely. And, final question, then we'll wrap this interview up, and I'll actually throw you on full screen here in just a moment when you get ready to answer it. But it's a question I finish all of my interviews with, and that is, let's say we have all 32 NFL GMs. They're listening. They're watching this very interview. Why should they want Andrew Rupcich, the offensive lineman out of Culver-Stockton College, a part of their team?
Sorry, you cut out there at the end. What'd you say?
Oh, sorry. Basically, why should they want you as a member of their team?
The biggest thing with me is I'm a person that's gonna come in every day and work my hardest no matter what. It's if I'm not doing well at something, I'm gonna work harder. I'm not gonna quit. That's just not who I am. Um, coming from a small school, you're not gonna see those small school tendencies from me. Like I'm not gonna be belittled. I'm not gonna be discouraged. And overall, I'm just a physical, nasty player on the field. And if that's what you want on your team, then you want me.
Yeah, and physical and nasty, I got to think are attributes of just about any offensive lineman you're going to want on the football field. Andrew, I really do appreciate you taking the time this afternoon. Congratulations on all of the success. I'm always rooting
Thank
for
you.
like the underdog and guys that you would think a Culver-Stockton wouldn't be represented, even this far. But it's an absolutely great story, and from McHenry, Illinois. So you got to root for that. I'm in the south suburbs of Illinois. So obviously, definitely going to be keeping track of the rest of this process, and certainly wishing you the best of luck next month at the NFL Combine. And then, of course, the draft itself. Any final words before I let you go?
No, I just want to say thank you for having me. It was a good experience to get my name out there. Thank you.
My pleasure, man.